All right, so today we're going to be talking all about harnesses, bare bones basics, different harnesses, what are they used for, what advantages and disadvantages do certain harnesses have. So on my right here, you can't see it, but I have a whole bunch of different kinds of harnesses that are all used for different applications, and I think it'll be best if we just go down the line from lightest to heaviest harnesses. So let's get right into it. First harness I like to go over is called the Petzl Fly. So this is the lightest harness that I own. It's meant for ski touring, ice climbing, all that. So one interesting feature about these lighter harnesses is that it can be put on without your feet leaving the ground. Now most normal harnesses you cannot do this. So here we go. Another interesting thing about this harness is that it doesn't have a single piece of metal in the whole thing. All right, put this on. Perfect. So, as you can see, this harness has almost no padding. I have taken the padding out. It is removable. It has no padding. So, this is not going to be a great harness. For example, trad climbing. This won't be the greatest harness because you have a huge rack, and it's really meant for ice climbing, because whenever you're ice climbing, you're already going to be wearing so many layers and things like that you won't have that problem. So as you can see, it functions. One interesting thing is that it has two tie-in points, but that is only because it doesn't have any metal on it. So that's to create that essential master point there. It has two ice screw holes you can put in here. You can put an ice screw in here, one on each leg, and the belay loops are super skinny, or the gear loops. So that's the Petzl Fly. This is going to be a harness that you're going to use for ice climbing and things like that. Very lightweight ice climbing. Okay, so next harness we have is I'm not sure what this one is called. So this is a harness made by Mammut. Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, here we go. The Zephir Altitude. So this is kind of similar to the Petzl Fly. The only difference is that this is going to be a little bit heavier, but it has more padding in it. One interesting feature here is the method they use to connect the buckle. So again, this harness can be put on without your feet leaving the ground, which whenever you have crampons on can be a very useful feature. I prefer this method because although it is a little bit heavier, these clips make it pretty easy to put on the leg loops, just like that. Whenever you put it on, you have to put the belt through the waist loop, and that goes back in here. Perfect. Now let's get this other leg loop attached. So, perfect. Tighten her up. Okay, so as you can see, this one is pretty much the same thing as the Petzl Fly, except it's going to be a teeny bit heavier, and it has a central belay loop. Now this is really nice. I like the Petzl Fly, but having a belay loop is a very nice feature. This has two ice clipper slots on either side. There's actually 4 total, but I don't use those because they're pretty much all the way in the back, and I don't see the point of that. But these ice clipper slots are great for leading ice and things like that. We'll do a quick hang test. So this is similar to the Petzl Fly in that it's not going to have a lot of padding in it, but this definitely, you can feel a difference between this and the Petzl Fly. This has a lot more padding to it, and it's way more comfortable. I still would not recommend using this for trad climbing or big walling or anything like that. Okay, so next we're getting into the mid-weight harnesses. So this is I don't even know. This is like the most basic black diamond harness you can buy. The name escapes me. But this is the harness that I use for gym climbing and trad climbing. This is my most go-to harness. I just grab this whenever. So as you can see, this one you cannot put on with the simple little clip system. You have to take your feet off the ground to put it on. But the upside of that is that this harness, although heavier, you can sit in this for many hours and be comfortable. I've done big walls in this harness, and although my lower back may have started to hurt at the very end, it was definitely way more comfortable than the Mammut or the Petzl Fly. So as you can see, central belay loop, bunch of gear slings, bunch of little features here. We have a hull loop in the back, and just here, this is like the most standard basic harness. So we do a sit test. Boom! Look at that. Yeah, so this is a great harness. This is go-to, very versatile. You do a lot with this harness. The last harness we have here, so this is the Metolius Waldo harness. So this harness, as you can see, compared to, I think this is called the BD Solution. I could be wrong though. Compared to this, you can see the back strap is significantly thicker. It's huge. You can see the leg loops are ginormous. One thing about this harness though is that, as you can see, we only have 3 gear loops, and that's just because this is the only size harness that is meant for big walling that will fit me. I wish I could have a harness that had more gear loops, but take what I can get. You can see it has almost full strength gear loop here in the back. And yeah. Alright, so let's put this guy on. So this harness is going to be the most comfortable but most heavy harness out of all the harnesses that I own. You can see here we have 2 belay loops instead of the normal one, and this is a big use for aid climbing and big walling. So you can have one with your personal attachment point. You can have one belaying. You know, there's tons of use to have the 2 belay loops. Sit test. So as you can see, this thing is huge, but I could fall asleep in this guy. I mean, this is super comfortable. I have a ton of back support, a ton of leg support, whereas on the other harnesses, I don't get that support. But then again, I also wouldn't want to do some crazy hard free climbing in this because of its weight and its size. It's huge, and it can be a little bit restricting. So yeah. So that's the lineup of normal harnesses that I own. So if you're a beginner getting into climbing, I would just go with something simple like this. This is a very basic harness. I'll put all the names in the description and where to find them in the video. But this is a super basic harness. If you're getting into ice climbing, I'd recommend this harness, the Mammut Zephir Altitude. This is a great harness, love it. The Petzl Fly is just a lighter version of it. And I really enjoy this. I've climbed A3 in this. This is a great harness too. So lastly, one more thing I'd like to go over. So this is a chest harness. Now, as you can see, it's not like the normal harnesses. So this is a chest harness. You wear this for aiding, top rope soloing, lead rope soloing. But as you can see, this is a Trango chest harness, and we have a bunch of gear loops on the side here. We have a bunch of gear loops on the other side here. We have a clip-in point that we can use to orient devices for soloing. We can use this to clip into the rope to prevent flipping upside down when you fall. You can use this to just rest and not have to engage your back muscles and just sit there on the rope. And yeah, all around this is a great harness. Whenever I'm climbing super hard aid, I like to distribute the weight from my harness to my chest so I can have half the weight on my harness and half the weight on my chest. And especially with this harness, the problem being, we only have 3 gear loops, this comes in handy. So yeah, that's all the harnesses. If you liked the video, please make sure to subscribe. Comment down below what you'd like to see next. If you think I left anything out, let me know. I'll link my Instagram down below. If you have any questions, you can shoot me a DM on there. And yeah, keep climbing.